Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology and instructional coach from my district.
And I'm her producer and husband, Fuzz Martin. And I think this show speaks volumes about the world of tech tools.
Oh, that was clever.
Thanks.
That was a good pun.
Yeah, thank you very much. It took it on the first take. There's definitely weren't extra takes about my bad pun.
And figuring out life. Yay, it's episode 141.
141.
We're here. It's February.
Wow, happy February
Hooray.
to you too. By the way, I always pronounce the R in February. And people tell me that I'm weird. But you know what? It's in there, so I'm going to just leave it. I'm just going to leave the R in February.
Just like you say mittens. I pronounce the T's mittens.
Mittens. I also say Milwaukee with
Milwaukee,
where I sound out every syllable. It's just, years of radio. I'll do that
cool.
too.
Maybe today's tools can help us with more knowledge about random things, and then we could pronounce them in random ways.
Perhaps we could. You're like an encyclopedia of knowledge about
random things.
Whoa, and that ties in today's episode, Shanna. Wow.
We are so clever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about encyclopedias, folks. Back in the day, when I was in school, when you were in school, we had the good old World Book Encyclopedia that was 40 years out of date on our shelf in our classroom.
Yes.
And it sometimes made a cool picture when all the books were together, like when all the spines were lined up.
That's right, yeah.
It had like a cool picture.
Yeah.
And it sat on a shelf.
And there was always one volume missing.
Yeah. And you never used it except for when the teacher's like, hey, look up on whatever page, check it out for us in the class. And then someone would have put a drawing in it or something.
Yeah.
People leave notes in it. But how often did you actually use the encyclopedia as a student in school?
I would say probably a couple times a year.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say.
That's about right. Like you have like quick
through
check
like
something.
Middle and high school, probably a couple times a year. And I graduated in 1996. So it wasn't quite internet time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I graduated in 99. So we had them. They were there. But I can't tell you I used it very much.
Right.
But now. Encyclopedias are so much cooler. Let's talk about encyclopedias.
Let's do that.
So this is the most exciting episode you're ever going to hear.
Yes.
We're talking about encyclopedias today. It's like paint drying. No. So I have my students do a ton of inquiry learning and a ton of research. And what we always find is that kids don't know where to find authentic information.
Yes.
And so that's a skill in itself to teach your students how to search online effectively. There is plenty of not just digital citizenship sites, but how to research online. That could be a whole class. It is a class in some places. How to learn how to research and not look for bias and all kinds of things. But in general, when I'm sending my kids on an inquiry, they need to go find sources and information that we know are reliable, quick, and going to have factual information. It's not somebody's blog who just has a passion for the topic that they're talking about. So I have a few resources today, two actually, that are fantastic. I wouldn't say they're encyclopedias, but they are references for students to use when doing research. And what's kind of cool is that they're great for elementary and middle school. Mm-hmm. So elementary students, you can send your students on these sites and not be like, hey, what's the strange information they're going to dig up on something? It's going to be age appropriate and it's going to be educational, which is what we're always looking for.
Yes.
So with all of these things, I've had lots of discussions lately with teachers about how to get kids to research and what they're researching and find real information and not just look things up on YouTube randomly or find just the same old random sites. So our first site is called DK Find Out. DK Find Out.
DK Find Out.
Based on the books that you usually would find through DK. And what's really cool is that this whole section has really high interest topics highlighted for students. So you go into the site, it's DKFindout.com/US. if you're in the US, or just DK Find Out. You'll be fine. And so you could like right away, topics, animals and nature, computer coding, dinosaurs, earth, history, human body, language arts, math, music and art, science, space, sports, transportation. And there's great images, so a kid can easily be like, oh, I want to go here, animals. Click on the animal site. You got animals in nature, and then it lays out like topics. So if you're researching a specific animal, I know our second grade is currently researching, I think she's doing wolves. Big surprise. Right. She's researching wolves, folks, for a nonfiction piece of writing she's doing. But they have cats, dogs, insects, reptiles, invertebrates, habitats and ecosystems, whales, dolphins, bats, badgers. I mean, just scroll through, find an animal. Pick an animal. What do you want to learn about today?
Let's say lemurs.
Okay, well, let's...
Okay, let's say tigers.
Tigers I can do. Not saying that lemurs isn't in here, but I'm not going to try and find a lemur right now. I'm going to just find you a tiger. If I can find a tiger. I'm guessing a tiger would probably be under the cat family. So I'm in cats right now. There we go. In cats, I can find big cats, domestic cats, small cats. What is a cat? Big cats. Leopard, tiger, cheetah, lion. And then there's fun little terms, like the term big cat uses a group that includes a lion, a tiger, jaguar, and leopard. So it's a little encyclopedia of information, great images. You click on the, pick a cat, click on it, and that's going to tell you more about it. So it leads the students through the research, still on the same page. So it's not...
You're not going to know a whole bunch of places.
Taking them other places where you're like, where's the site going? So you just click on the tiger button. Tigers are most powerful cats in the world. And then you click on tiger. And look, there's a whole, you can't see it, but you can see it. There's a whole tiger picture.
Yeah, look at that.
And then it labels all of its features and its face. And it's really kind of cool. So it's a great way for kids to find information on a topic that they need to research without sending them on a wild goose chase to try and find information.
Yeah.
And then they even have fast facts, and you can click on listen to a tiger growl. Ooh. And then you can talk about white tigers. And there's just so many different things that you could just go down a rabbit hole of learning about information. The other choice is they have a search bar across the top, and it literally says in the search bar, I want to find out about. What do we want to find out about? Cars. So if I click on cars, takes me to how the Ford assembly line works, early cars, race cars, history of cars, luxury cars, working cars, small cars. You found a lemur. See, just lemurs, folks, they're in there. Ferrari up close, which is super cool. So you can click on it again, get more information, more research, quick facts, very user friendly, lots of images, very easy to search. So you could comfortably send 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way through 8th grade. Searching through here is a very cool way to research an encyclopedia and not have people going crazy, losing themselves and what they need, to find and whatnot. And guess what?
What?
My kids are researching the Titanic right now.
Okay.
I typed in Titanic. There's a whole map on the Titanic.
Nice.
And that explains all the different ventilation, all kinds of stuff on the Titanic.
Oh, yeah, look at
That's
that.
fun.
A teaser. You're going to be doing a Titanic episode as we get closer to the date that the Titanic sunk, which was April 12th? No.
15th is when they arrived back. 14th is when it hit the iceberg. It happened overnight.
Okay.
So 14th.
And that was 1912.
1912.
That's
correct.
where the 12 came from.
There you go. And then back on the home page again, you can pick math. You can go down the math rabbit hole of averages and coordinates and geometry and timetables. And again, everything is super interactive. It's colorful. It's easy to search through, and a fun way for kids to research and find information on their own and nothing to worry about when it comes to teacher supervision. I mean, obviously you should always know what your students are using and doing, but at the same time, they can keep clicking here and keep learning and keep clicking. They have a Rubik's Cube in here, and you can learn about plastics, folks. So There's just all kinds of really cool information with lots and lots of different topics, and students can just go ahead and dig through, learn, research, and you can be comfortable letting them do that. So that one is dkfindout.com.
And DK Find Out, they make books, right? Or magazines?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. They have a whole like book series that you can
So it
purchase.
is like a reference book company.
Yeah.
That's where the credibility of this site comes from, right?
Correct. And then they also have like additional parent-teacher resources and things like that you can sign up for and pay for if you want to. So,
of course, I'm asking as a non-teacher, so all the teachers listening, which is everybody who listens to this show, is like, yeah, Fuzz, that's a thing that you should know.
Duh. But that's cool.
It means duh, kid, find out. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't at all. All right. So DK Find Out, great site, great resource, great way for your kids to dig into information. Our second site is
Fact Monster.
I've been waiting to do that.
Factmonster.com. Again, the encyclopedia world is so much cooler than it was.
Yes. Do you remember traveling encyclopedia salespeople who would like come knock on the door?
And they would be like, hey, you want to buy a site of encyclopedias? You're like, no, my parents have theirs from their childhood gift and they're back in my house.
Right.
I'm pretty sure my parents still have theirs. We should find them.
Oh, we should.
I bet they smell
like
and they're like yellow
from the 70s or 60s. Yeah.
Oh, they're from before the 70s or 60s. Oh, goodness. They're from before the 70s. They're from way before the 70s and 60s. Like, my mom was having children then. I mean, their encyclopedias. Like when my parents were kids, they have their encyclopedias.
Oh, wow.
Those are probably worth something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe.
They were red and they had like navy blue like stripes on them.
Wow.
I remember them as a kid.
They probably cost a mint when they bought them.
I know.
And
craziness.
Probably cost a mint to move them back and forth between houses.
That too. So our second site, Fact Monster, is super cool and he's cute. So there's Frank. Hi there, I'm Frank. I help with homework and facts. In case that gets boring, I'll also have some games and trivia quizzes for you too. So Frank the Fact Monster is another fantastic collection of information for kids. They do have like 50 state stuff. Everyone's playing the same game. They have like this day in history, which I always like to kind of throw out there. Just random cool things. This day in history, you can pick a date and it'll give you some cool fact and piece of information. It's great as a story starter, like a day starter with your students. They have different videos and activities. They have a whole set of stuff for like Martin Luther King Day. They have all kinds of things. So there's lots of stuff on the homepage. If you go through, there are different tabs of information that you can search for finding what you need to if you're doing an inquiry or research project. They do have games on there, so that is something to be aware of with this one. Like if you don't want kids playing games, there are some games on here. They're nothing. They have tic-tac-toe and word searches and stuff. But if you want to look at the world, you can choose current events, and then it'll come up with a list of things. U.S. government, history, education, cities. If you have kids studying the 50 states or other countries around the world, they can easily research. People. Fun facts, biographies, which I always think are super helpful if they're going to research famous people and biographies. It's then broken down to like notable scientists, notable explorers. And then they're broken down from there in like different categories of science and math. If you want help in science categories and math, they have dinosaurs and chemistry and physics and weather and language arts. You can do all kinds of like grammar and spelling help, different types of books. And then with each page that you click on, it then takes you to additional information, top-rated books, series. You can learn about authors. You can learn background information. There's just a wealth of information on this site, and that can really help kids out. This one, I will say, is probably for students that are slightly older. I would say 3rd or 4th grade and up, just because there's less visuals to find things. So,
sure.
Whereas DK has like big cats and there's clearly an image of a big cat, here you have to read.
Yeah, there's a lot more small words or bigger words like.
Right. So like how to write a first draft instead of like there's no image for that. It says write a first draft and then it tells you. But that's really great for like proofreading and help. And there's just a lot of homework help in there. There's a lot of like speaking and listening, just things that cover the standards that we are researching. And there's a dictionary and there's an actual encyclopedia. What's cute is that it links to the DK encyclopedia. So, and again, there's teaching resources in there as another help for teachers as well. This one also has a search bar. What do we have? Give me a topic.
Oh, let's say U.S. presidents.
U.S. president. That'd probably be under the U.S. category, but we'll search it anyway. Okay. And yes, don't worry. They have biographies on all of the presidents. And that links to another set of all the links, all their information. JFK, click on it, and there's a whole biography on him.
Nice.
So it's very cool. So Fact Monster has loaded with all kinds of information about many, many topics. For older students, probably would be helpful for research. You can go ahead, like they even have the 50 states. You can click on a state. You can learn more about it. It gives you all the background information from the largest cities to general information, the flag, all kinds of stuff. Math, science, language arts. It's got all the subjects covered. And just kids that are interested in different topics, this would be a great site. It'd be like, hey, we're going to explore some things. Pick this column and find out something and share a cool fact with the rest of the class. Very easy to do. I also appreciate that there's a Roman numeral challenge on here, which many students don't know Roman numerals anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's kind of fun because I don't see that everywhere. So
right.
There you go. So Fact Monster.
Fact Monster.
Has super great collection of information and very helpful for students. So if you have kids researching on their own, both of these sites would be very helpful to kind of send them on their way and not have to worry about all the different things that they're clicking on. It's going to keep them on the right track, researching actual information and making sure that they're doing what they need to do.
Perfecto.
So there you go.
There I go. There you go. There we go.
There we go.
Together.
Episode 141.
In the books.
Thanks for tuning in.
The Encyclopedia books.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter @SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, visit smartandwi.com. If you'd like to support the show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. Visit buymeacoffee.com/smartandwi or visit smartandwi.com and click on that cute little purple coffee cup. Your donations help keep the show going. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we sure hope they do.